Oh, well.
As long as we can hear you, Beth,
Okay.
and we can.
Okay, so anytime you want to start, Cindy, you can.
All right, I would like to welcome the Little Compton Free Public Libraries Board of Trustees to the 4th Zoom meeting. And today is September 23rd, and the time is 11 o'clock. Present are Cindy Sheldon, that's me, Jeff Kenyon,
Yeah.
Nancy Osborne, and Michelle Stecker.
Here.
Beth Ryan is here as well. She's raising her hand, I know. And absent is Lucy Duhamel, who is attending to family responsibilities. We are gathered today to discuss the the advertisement for the position of director of the Little Compton Free Public Libraries. And Beth is retiring from that position. She's held very well for 46 years. And Beth has submitted to us a library director advertisement, if you will, which I've sent to all of you with hopes that you have read and reviewed it. I thought Beth's was quite well written, and there are very few amendments or additions or subtractions that I could recommend. I think it's well put together. Does anybody have any suggestions, thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
The floor recognizes Michelle Stecker. Sorry, I've got it.
That's right. I would like, well, it's a very professional position. And I think that in the description, we shouldn't use a good sense of humor. That's something that would come out in an interview. And I think that makes it not quite as serious, just putting that in. Because it's really going to be a personality fit when we do the interviews, but that's just a suggestion. And then I think we also need to include develops and manages a budget and oversees the creation of that budget. I have a bunch of things and I could, put a draft together, but also be familiar with Excel, not just familiar, but competent with Excel. And I'm not sure QuickBooks, I'm pretty sure we switched over to Excel, but I have to talk to Tony about that. I think that was a problem in last year's budgeting, but we could use Excel and QuickBooks and put QuickBooks in there as well. I would say a minimum of 3 years experience, not, prefer 3 to 5, but a minimum required of 3 years experience. And then looking at salaries, it's all over the board. And I started looking at it a few months ago and then didn't pursue it, but it's difficult to get a handle on what would be an appropriate salary. It looks like, I think in Tiverton, the salary is even close to 65,000. So I'd have to confirm that and look at that. But before we post the salary, we might want to check and see that we're in line. Probably want to be on the low end in terms of what we post, I think, but I'm not exactly sure what that number is right now.
And I noticed the salary too, and I wondered, I think the point of this meeting is to get this thing out as soon as we can. So, more checking, and another meeting is really not what we want to do.
I agree with you.
Can we take out the salary, Beth? Because that's what I was thinking too, kind of avoiding, sticking ourselves with a salary. Can we just say salary is proportionate with background and experience, or, salary is competitive and proportionate with background and experience? What do you think of taking out the number?
I think that's a good idea.
I think it's an excellent idea.
Okay.
I would agree with taking out the number.
Okay, so let's take that out. So Beth, to Michelle's point, do you need to be conversant or with QuickBooks or Excel, or what? Should we put something in there about that?
Well, I do use QuickBooks and I do use some Excel sheets. I don't know if it's important we put it in as, I'm not sure on that.
I would like to say something about being current with technology, familiar and comfortable with Zoom. Because,
Oh, I don't know if we need, Zoom is so easy to pick up.
ha, says you.
Well, no, look at you. You're doing, I mean, this is, this is pretty easy. And if we do, we may even do initial interviews via Zoom.
Huh, okay,
But I just don't know. Because some people, 'cause we had town financial planning meeting in Little Compton with 190 people, 90% of whom have never used Zoom.
Yeah.
And, that got done.
well, I
I
would
don't
like
want to scare anybody off by putting that in there.
I would like to include in the advertisement that the person needs to be comfortable using current technology.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Including familiarity with QuickBooks and Excel. I mean, and do you want to put that in?
Yeah,
I'd like to put that in.
Beth, can you, is that good to you, for you?
Yes.
And
So
who's in, who is making these amendments, these changes? Is it Beth or are you?
Beth, would you like to make the changes?
Well, I would like Nancy to repeat what she said before, that salary is comparable to,
Salary is competitive, I said,
And commensurate.
Yeah.
and well, we use proportionate or commensurate with background and experience, or salary is competitive and commensurate with background and experience.
And includes a non-union benefit package?
If that's the case, sure.
Well, it is the case, so
I did see that, to Michelle's point, with including that other library, write up. Yeah, that was wording that was used in other write-ups.
yeah, that was Bristol, I believe she said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I looked at the library sites that Beth had mentioned for wording.
So Beth, are you comfortable rewriting this? And can we send it out amongst ourselves through email and chip away at it or add it or whatever and have a final draft of it? No, we can't? Okay, that would make it too easy.
Well, I think just making a few of the changes, just a few changes we just talked about, and just put it out. And my question is, where are we going to post it, Beth? Where should we post it?
Ocean State Libraries and OLIS, Office of Information and Library Services. Those are the two places that I would post it.
Because this is your ad. Do you want to post it so you know where it winds up?
I have no problem with posting it for you once we agree on what it is going to say.
Okay, so have we got it, that second to last paragraph would say this is a full-time 35-hour per week position. Salary is competitive
How about commensurate?
or commensurate with
Competitive
background.
and commensurate, right? Competitive and commensurate.
Salary is competitive and commensurate with background and experience, and includes a non-union benefits package, period.
Yeah,
Is that okay, Beth?
Yes, I'm writing this down as we're.
And if you want to read it back, go right ahead.
Okay. Salary is, you said, all right, what did we say next? You used two different words, competitive and how did you?
competitive is competitive
And
and
commensurate.
commensurate with background experience.
And includes a non-union, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, remember, okay.
Okay,
Is
if we, what?
We might want to include in your ad, Beth, that this is in the state of Rhode Island. I know you're publishing it in the Rhode Island Library section, but if it were to say something like little at the top, the second sentence says Little Compton is a rural seaside town. How about saying Little Compton, Rhode Island?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Idea.
okay.
Okay,
I think rural, seaside, and farming town. Well, seaside, I don't know, whatever. I don't think it matters that much.
probably not,
No.
unless you're big into gardening.
When you're ready, Beth, in that second paragraph, we had a couple missing words or something.
I
Yeah.
like the middle word, the middle sentence. The director be both a team member, a team leader, and a member.
Okay, so that is missing a verb or something. The director should or must be.
Is.
Or even just instead of be, put is.
Huh. Okay.
Do
Well,
we
well,
agree?
But that speaks to a sense of humor.
But Michelle, you don't like that one.
Yeah, I mean, well, I was just saying the director is both a team leader and member. And instead of, leaving it as it is, and that it's up to, you all chime in, but I just don't think it's appropriate to put a good sense of humor in the job description.
Okay.
That's very subjective.
I think that's fine. Yeah, I think I would
Okay.
agree with that.
Okay,
So you're saying that sentence should say the director is both a team leader and team member?
Yeah,
right, okay.
Okay, the director is both a team leader and team member, has excellent, I mean, I don't understand why you want to say is, I'm not crazy about that, but I mean, this is what we're looking for, the director must be, or should be, or you want to say,
I don't care. I just thought it was simple, just put is, but I don't care. Whatever you think.
I like must be a team leader and team
Okay.
member.
the
Okay.
director must be both a team leader and team member,
Can we
and then
take,
the rest of it can stay the same.
both out? The director must be a team leader and member.
Yeah, good idea.
Sure.
I don't understand, you want to take both of them out?
No.
No, the
Word
word both. So it would say the director must be a team leader and team member. I mean, you
Oh,
could say,
I see. Okay, I
you could
understand.
say a collaborative team member or whatever, but
I think the director must be a team leader and a team member is good. And
okay.
then you want to put has? Or
Director,
has excellent leadership.
No, it's not, no, not has,
No,
have.
okay.
how's that read again? The director must be a team leader and member.
And team
team.
member.
Team leader and team member.
Have excellent leadership, or has? Have?
Have.
Okay.
And I'd like to take out the first strong.
Where are you?
Let's see,
Okay, I
excellent
see it.
leadership and public relations skills, comma, strong, and so take out this first strong, then strong customer service orientation, then strike a good sense of humor, and the ability to partner effectively with the Board of Trustees.
Okay.
Okay, so that's going to read, have excellent leadership and public relation skills, then strong service orientation.
Yeah, strong customers, yeah. And the ability to partner effectively.
Right.
I guess you can find out if somebody has a good sense of humor on interview and emphasize. I can't imagine stepping into a job that's as busy as Beth's job without having a good sense of humor. I think that you want to
That
hang
means-
yourself after the
That can
first.
mean something, that can mean something different to every person, however, what a good sense of humor means. So it would be our consensus as a board.
Oh,
If we
good
think it's a fit.
Do we want to say somewhere how big a staff they're in charge of? I was noticing that in some other, I mean, how many staff do you manage, Beth?
There's just 4 of us, including myself. And then we have our volunteers.
Yeah, I would put staff and volunteers. So the second line down in the second paragraph, organizing, supervising staff and volunteers and coordinating all aspects.
okay.
Wait a minute, I'm trying to do this. Where are you going to put this in exactly in the sentence?
It's the second paragraph. The
Right.
second sentence. The director's responsibilities include planning, organization, supervising staff and
Well, not
volunteers.
organizing.
Okay, organizing, supervising staff and volunteers, and
Okay.
coordinating all aspects of the library's operation.
Okay.
And then I'd like to add in there that the director is also responsible to develop, manage, and oversee the budget, the annual budget.
Ooh, that's a biggie. You're right.
Well, I just think that's covered, but that's fine. That's fine. I don't think that that was an oversight necessarily, but that's fine to state it.
And then must be competent with Excel and QuickBooks after that sentence.
This is Carol. I just make a suggestion that you might consider saying or some similar financial accounting package or something like
Well,
that.
it has to be something that, because Tony's going to drive it. He uses Excel. So there are other accounting packages, but if it can't be transferred, exactly, like we send a report to Tony and it's in a different format, that's not helpful.
Well, Tony's not actually taking anything you report to him and importing it into his system. He has an aide that manually enters the data. So it won't matter what you're using.
Well, it's hard to compare apples and apples if you're using different accounting systems. And in
I
my
just wanted to leave that open.
experience, it's not been a good idea.
Mhm. We do have a new finance director, so it probably will not be Tony you're going to be dealing with in the future anyways.
Right. But at least Excel.
So how are we doing with this second paragraph?
Beth, is there something that you gleaned from all of our input that you can read back to us as far as technology requirements? Did you get any direction from us?
Well, let's just read the second paragraph maybe and see where we are.
Can we hear from Beth first?
Well, wait a minute. I'm scribbling all over this paper. Your question was about technology.
Yeah, the director should be comfortable or should be able to use current technology however you want to use it. However you want to, right? Current technology, including QuickBooks and Excel.
Okay. No, I have that all here. I will put this all together.
Well, to maybe eliminate as much editing as we can once we get the draft from you, Beth, maybe you could read the second paragraph as we've adjusted it.
Well, and correct me if this is wrong because it's all over the paper right now. You want the second paragraph.
Correct.
The library director works under the direction of the board of trustees and the town manager. The director's responsibility include planning, organizing, supervising staff and volunteers, and coordinating all aspects of the library's operation. The director must be a team leader and team member, have excellent leadership and public relations skills, strong customer service orientation, and the ability to partner effectively with the board of trustees. This is where you want me to put in about the budget and QuickBooks.
That goes after, that goes up top, after coordinating all aspects of the library operations period. And the director also develops, manages the budget, develops, manages, and oversees the budget, annual budget.
Okay. Annual budget. And what you want to include is the director must be competent with Excel and QuickBooks.
Yeah,
I think that's getting a little particular myself.
those are critical skills, though, I think.
All right, all right. So that would just come after that sentence.
Yes.
And then-
Nancy? Okay.
Sorry, yeah, I had muted myself. Do you think we're going to lose applicants, Beth, if we are that specific about the technology we want, skills we want them to have? Is that your fear? Beth?
Somewhat, but I mean, we are saying, you know, the director has to manage, develop the library budget. I'm just assuming that that would be part of one of their skills. But maybe I'm looking at it too.
Well, certainly it could be the first, you know, or second question in an interview.
Well, yeah, but I just don't want someone, well, I've heard of Excel. So they might think, well, yeah, I'm competent, and I don't want them to just have heard of it or be familiar with it. They have to be, competent. And that's how it gets built. And, other people have input, and it's just translatable to lots of other programs.
An advantage of being specific at this point in the advertisement is that it pre-weeds out applicants who are hoping they could have somebody else manage the Excel while they just fiddle with the modern technology.
Yes, I think that's right.
And
Okay.
that might be helpful. You wind up with applicants who, sitting across from you, either Zoom or whatever, can say that they are familiar with modern technology, including Excel and QuickBooks.
But competent in Excel, not familiar. Personally, I've applied for jobs for being a statistician, and I'm not competent with several statistical programs. And so I could say I'm familiar, but I'm not competent in that.
Are we splitting hairs?
I don't know. Familiar is really different from competency.
But what did I say? Familiar or competent?
Familiar, you said familiar.
Oh my God, I meant competent.
Okay.
So I'm hearing that Beth should add in, is this the last sentence of the second paragraph? Is that okay to where to put it?
It comes after the develops, manages, and oversees budget. And
Oh.
the next sentence is Excel, QuickBooks.
Okay.
And then you'll continue with the last sentence. The director must have the ability to perform duties with a high degree of independent judgment and initiative.
Yes.
Okay. And when you talked about 3 to 5 years of experience, what, Michelle, you had said something
Yep.
previously.
Minimum 3 years experience required.
So a minimum of 3 to 5 years of experience in public library management is required.
Well, it's either 3 years experience required or 5, not 3 to 5 required. 3 years is the minimum requirement.
Okay, so a minimum of 3 years of experience in public library management is required.
Yes.
All right, this is Carol again. Do you want to say is required or do you want to say is preferred?
Required.
Well, I use that word preferred because what if you have somebody that applies who's got 2 years under their belt, who's by all other means absolutely your perfect match, but because you said the 3 years is required, you don't have the ability to lean towards that person.
I would expect anyone with any experience would apply, even if it says 3 years required. People will say, well, I only have 2 years, and they can sell themselves. But I think we should say required.
But if
I
you
don't-
use the
I-
word, the
I
required,
take Carol's point. You box yourself in and you are stating what is required, and anybody could complain, maybe even a resident of Little Compton, that we didn't hire who we said we were going to hire. I think we're boxing ourselves in if we say
Okay.
required.
I see that. Yeah, that's a good
Okay,
idea.
Second, yeah.
so 3 years of experience in public library management is preferred.
3 to 5 years.
A minimum of 3 years of experience in public library management is preferred.
yeah,
Are
that
we
gives
going-
you the ability to then say someone who is an awesome candidate who only has 2 years, you can hire them. And
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
have somebody who has better qualifications, then certainly you can still hire that other person, but it
Yeah.
doesn't box you in a corner.
Right, right.
So we are now down to the last sentence. To apply, please send a resume.
No, I've got one more thing I'd like you all to consider is in terms of what they need to be competent in doing is provide and maintain reports for efficient operation of library services and as may be requested by the board. Reports such as Beth has, reports how many books are checked out, when they're checked out, if looking towards culling, trying to cull the library some, and there's some reports there, and there may be other reports that the board requests of the librarian.
You
Beth
don't
has
think
lots of reports, I think.
you don't think that that's part of, managing, organizing, supervising, working with the,
I think we should, yeah, we could use that in an interview. We could do that in an interview.
I like using it in an interview.
Okay.
one thing I was noticing in other postings was we are an equal opportunity employer. I've never been part of a municipal board. I don't know. Do we need to state that? Maybe Carol we could pick her brain. Is that something that we should be stating?
Yes, you do need to state that.
Okay, good.
Okay, so somewhere maybe second to above to apply, send resume,
It can even be the very last sentence,
Yeah, in the very last sentence. That
we
sounds-
are an equal opportunity employer, or I've even just seen EEO, but, and another thing I saw was, candidates, something to the effect that candidates will be subject to a background check. Well, of course they will, but,
Yeah, we should do that too.
is that something we should be stating? Or is that
that's
just,
usually at the interview stage.
okay?
When you get
Okay,
to a
yeah.
point of offering somebody employment,
Mhm.
you then inform them that it would be contingent upon a background check and they have to sign an authorization.
Yeah, good idea.
And Carol, who's responsible, if we're responsible for hiring this person, the Board of Trustees, who's responsible for doing the background check?
Well, you would ask for it and they would have to apply to the police department to have that done.
The candidate does?
There's a form they will need to sign at the police department, yes.
I see.
Where it says in the bottom sentence, to apply, send resume, cover letter, and 3 references. I'd like to say to apply, please send resume, cover letter, and 3. I want more current references. I don't want references from 2010. I want to have a reference that is really current.
We could ask references based on the resume. If we're doing an interview, we could say, okay, who do you have as a reference from this latest employment?
So that would be interview.
I think that's interview
All right.
references, yeah. Because someone's not gonna want to give out references if they don't even know they're gonna be interviewed for the job. They don't want to give out people's names and phone numbers.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to add please though, to apply, please send resume?
Yeah, I think it's just a little, it's a
Okay.
little unnecessary flourish that makes the letter overall more polite. Although it's it's a nice letter.
Okay. How you doing, Beth?
I'm awful glad I'm not on video. No. I will take this in and I will do the best I can to put it all together. And any notes that you may have, just so in case there's anything I've forgotten, you could send to me.
No, I
Okay.
think, yeah, it seems like, what you've read back seems, really reflects what we've talked about.
Okay, okay,
I think it's good.
okay.
So do we feel like we've crossed all the Ts, dotted all the Is, and added the periods at the appropriate places? Yes?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so we have a plan, which is that Beth is going to rewrite her advertisement to include our suggestions. And will get back to us when she is satisfied with her finished product. All in favor? Yes?
We had to, can't she just post it?
Right.
I think so.
I don't think we want another meeting.
No,
No,
no, I'm happy to have Beth
just
Post-
post it. Yeah.
added our 2 cents here. And however, I imagine it's going to come out as suggestions were made and were read as during the meeting. And I'm happy to have her say, this is good. I'm happy with this. I'm satisfied.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Go ahead and post it.
I think you need an official vote to allow her to post it.
Okay, all in favor of,
We have to move in second, don't we?
Somebody needs to make a
I
motion.
move that we vote on whether Beth should post the job description with changes as we've discussed today.
I
I-
second.
good, all in favor? Let's have Nancy, are you in favor?
I'm
Nancy?
in favor.
Yes, Cindy Sheldon is in favor. How about Michelle Stecker?
Yes,
Favor?
in favor.
Jeff Kenyon?
Yes, in favor.
All right. Then the quorum has it that we are all in favor. And we will look forward to Beth Ryan posting her advertisement as she feels it's appropriate.
And Beth, could you send us the link so we can look at it online?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes?
Because I'm not looking at what you have, is there a deadline when these resumes are supposed to be submitted by?
Good point.
No.
I would suggest you include or authorize Beth to include a specific date and time that the resumes are supposed to be returned by.
Okay.
Say November 15, maybe? December 1st, is that enough time?
Well, she's finished as of November 1st, correct?
Yes. That's not, hopefully we'd have it before then, but maybe November 15th. And it's just, we want to make sure we have plenty of time. So this word gets out, people look at it, they pass it on to each other.
But that leaves you without a director for a time period, at least a month. Because even if you get them on the 15th and then you have interviews, you're not gonna interview and hire somebody within 2 weeks. So
Or so maybe we should give them a month. So by October 25th or something, 23rd. I think 2 weeks is a short time. It's just too short a time to have a deadline.
Quite frankly, November 1st is too short a time, really. I think it's all too short. It's unfortunate. I mean, for us to interview and hire somebody by November 1st is, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
do you have someone that you can appoint to serve as acting director?
No,
Or,
I was
or
thinking
is Beth's
Prudence
timeframe
Fallon,
firm?
maybe Prudence Fallon, she's a prior director. She lives here.
Well, how about, I think Beth should be given
Yeah.
a huge weight of
Yeah.
telling us, her opinion of who should be interim or temporary director. But I think that that's a great point, and I think we're going to absolutely need one
Yeah.
until we get this settled. Wouldn't you think?
I can't speak on it because I'm checking out on the end of this month, so.
Well, I can think of a couple of names. Beth, do you have anyone that comes to mind?
We can also use a staff member.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Definitely have a staff member.
Who would
Right.
you recommend?
Sarah.
Okay.
So,
Do we have another meeting set up in October? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think we have a couple of them.
Yeah, but is it in October though?
It was in December.
I think we set one up in early October.
Off the top of my head, I don't recall. But what you would need to do is set yourself up another meeting because you didn't advertise that you were going to appoint somebody as an interim or an acting director. So you'll need yet another meeting in order to take that action. And if you can coordinate that with when the resumes are going to be received, then you can kill two birds with one stone.
Can't we add to the agenda today that we are going to appoint an acting director?
The only way you can add to the agenda is by unanimous consent, but you can only assign it to somebody else to handle. And I don't think this board wants to assign that task to just one person.
I'm confused.
Well, when you add something by unanimous consent that has not been advertised, the law only allows you to refer that matter to a board or an individual to take further actions. The board itself cannot take any action other than that. It's only informational. So you cannot yourself as a board act on that today.
Well, can we say unanimously, we allow Beth to appoint an interim director?
You can assign her to do that, but you can't direct her who that person can be.
Right, that's fine. I just think we don't need to have another meeting. I mean, I'd rather not have another meeting, just because I want to keep this momentum going.
Well, you can assign her that duty then, but that's all you can if you add this by unanimous consent.
Yeah, I don't think I'm competent to decide who's appropriate to be acting director today. So I would like to move that the board allow Beth to appoint an acting director.
Well, first you need to move to add that to your agenda.
Okay, I move that we add to the agenda that we allow Beth to appoint an acting director.
I second.
okay, and can we have discussion on that before we take a vote? It's a big deal. I think I'm for it. I can't think why not, but does anybody have any thoughts about a downside? We trust Beth, we trust our staff.
I think
What
the downside is not having an acting director. And I think that's worse than anything else that could happen.
And I don't,
We would need to adjust Beth's salary, Sarah's salary to reflect her interim status.
Yes, that's right.
And I don't know what the alteration would be, but it would probably be a fair bit.
Yeah.
I honestly believe you need to have another meeting. I really do. I think these types of things are something that should be a vote by your board. What the adjustment would be, who the person's going to be, how long of a period you suspect it might be. I think it's a lot to put on Beth's shoulders to ask her to do that.
Oh, I think Beth can do that.
Well, I think she can, but you don't want somebody interpreting that a single person showed favoritism.
Well, it's only an interim director, and I just don't think, we're not talking about appointing somebody permanently. Hopefully this appointment is 2 to 3 months max.
but it is money and money's involved. And I think, you know, that her salary, whoever it is, their salary is going to go up, to Carol's point. I
Do you
No.
have an opinion?
do what?
Beth, do you have an opinion?
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking.
Jeff, well, I feel like we've talked over you the whole time. Have you got any thoughts you want to give us?
I think what Carol is saying, in order to make these decisions, we have to have another meeting.
That's what I'm suggesting.
And I don't see the need for it, but, that's just my opinion. I think we can just get this done. I'd like to just get this done.
I believe that Beth, who's held this job for 43 years, has got her heart in the library and would not recommend somebody who would not do a really good job,
I agree.
or the best job that could be available.
Right, but we are asking her to do that, and we're not going to, we're giving her carte blanche to do that
Yes,
without her coming back to us in October and saying, this is my choice. And we're saying, then we have great faith in you. We have great faith in this person. It's done. Great. And giving our blessing. Right now, we're not giving our blessing to that interim director. We're giving our blessing to Beth. And
Yeah.
I think that we're abdicating our duty that way, or at least it seems that we are. Somebody could argue that we are. I get it. Who needs another darn meeting? Not us, but
And I do think we have a meeting scheduled in early October, because I remember saying that I couldn't make it because I was going to be gone for a week, starting on the 7th or something.
okay, so can we agree, Carol, that we need another meeting? How do we agree on the date? Because we don't know the date right now.
I'm trying to pull up my calendar now to see whether or not you have another meeting that was scheduled in October.
I do remember talking about Michelle being away and trying to avoid that date, those dates.
Yeah, I do not see it in my,
I could swear
I have December 8th. I do not have one before that.
well, I think we talked about having one in October, another one in November, because we need to go over the budget in November.
I think you went November and December. There's one November 17th and one December 8th. I do not, unless I missed. Yeah, I don't see another one listed for October.
I just checked my notes from the town hall meeting, and I did have the November 17th and December 8th, no October meeting.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm not so much worried about you giving her the authority to choose an interim person. What I'm worried about is the fact that she's going to have to set the salary package, and that will not have been voted on by the board. That's the pressure that I don't want to put on Beth, because I don't want somebody from the public coming in and saying she was the only person to choose how much of an increase this individual will get. That's where my concern is.
Right.
Can we have her appoint the person subject to that person accepting the salary that we vote on in early October?
Yeah, they still need a meeting. So that's the whole point
Yeah.
behind this. You still need a meeting for you to set the salary package that the interim will get. So it
Right.
doesn't matter if she chooses who that person is or not.
Well,
You still have to have your vote in a meeting. So why can't you just have her give a recommendation back at a meeting you set for October? And it doesn't have to be a long meeting. It could take all of 10 minutes for her to say, this is the person I recommend, this is the package I recommend, and you guys vote yes or no.
And Beth can send us that by email. Here's all the information. Don't respond to this email, but this is what you have to look over before our meeting in a week, whatever. And we'll have all that information and be
yeah.
ready to go.
So the information you want from me is you want me to determine how they should be compensated?
No, we'll do that.
Okay. That's what I was. Okay.
But I think we need that somebody needs to be ready that day to say with that person. We're gonna have to discuss that number. So we're gonna need input from Beth, input from payroll. I have no idea what anybody makes.
Well, I
So,
have all that. And I can, on that day of that meeting, maybe beforehand, would it be all right, Carol, if I emailed everyone and said, this is what I propose as a salary package, benefit package for, up to 3 months. And then at the end of 3 months, we have to reassess if we haven't hired somebody.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to get into that. I still think Beth should give a recommendation, and then you as a board see that recommendation and then make your own comments from there. Much similar to what you're doing now with the job description she just gave you. She
And
gave
that-
you a proposal and you then made your adjustments. Because if you start coming up with your own individual packages and circulating that, that's when potentially you get into a problem with the Access or the Open Meetings Act.
Okay, but Beth, are you comfortable with coming up with a salary for 3-month bump for Sarah?
Not really, but I need time to think about it. My first reaction is no.
Yeah, that's what I would thought.
Well, she's
Who
the
would you-
director.
Would
She's
it be helpful for you to talk to Tony or the new finance director about it and see what they suggest? Because they mostly have a lot of experience with this kind of issue.
I caution against that because you guys are not a town board.
Right.
You don't want to be having them start to dictate what you do as a board of trustees.
Not
Because
dictate, but I'm looking for advice. I mean, I think that Beth needs some advice, needs to go somewhere for a resource. She needs a resource to help come up with a number. And if you don't think
that's true, but that's supposed to come from you guys.
Right, I agree with Carol.
Can
I
it
know,
come,
that's what I'm saying. It should come from us. And then Carol, you just said it's not appropriate to come from us. So I'm confused.
No, it's not appropriate for you to be circulating it beforehand. That's
Can-
the
Oh,
can Beth pick Michelle's brain as treasurer? Can they work on it together without any of the rest of us and come up with something that then we
Yes.
discuss at the meeting?
yes.
okay, okay. Beth, I'll talk to you later today then.
Okay.
So
That's
we
not-
have a plan.
All right,
Do we-
so what's the date in October that you want to have a short meeting?
Who's got their calendar up?
Let me go get my calendar.
Do we want to meet in the end of September or the beginning of October?
Let's do it. I'm up the 30th of September. Does
Could we
that work?
look at Wednesday, October 7th?
You don't think the 30th works? Well, the 7th, let me think. Yeah, I could do the 7th.
Okay,
Nancy, how about
Yes.
October 7th?
fine with me.
Cindy?
Good. I won't be here. I resign on the 30th of September.
But you
So-
did say you would stay until another is engaged in your place, right?
Yes.
I
Okay.
thought this meeting was about electing a new chairman and that,
No, that was not on this agenda.
okay.
No.
You said you would stay and help until someone could be put on the board so that there would be a full complement. I've had it advertised, but I don't know when that will happen, when somebody will put their name in the hat.
Well, I'm happy for either Wednesday, September 30th or Wednesday, October 7th. Both of those days are agreeable.
Well, I'll like to do the 30th and we could add to the agenda electing a new chairman.
Well, I think, didn't you say before that you were reluctant to do that until you had all 5 members?
What?
Right, well, until somebody was replacing Cindy, until you had someone actually in her seat. I thought your last meeting, it was generally decided that you would wait to elect a new chairman until after you knew who that person was.
I don't recall that, but
I don't either. I recall Cindy recommending that Nancy Osborne be the new chair, and I am all for it. So maybe we could just do that. And I think the new members, all the new members, have come up to speed very quickly, and we could just do that at the next meeting as well.
I have no problem with that.
Okay, well, that's up to you. So you have 2 items on that next agenda. It would be, like you said, electing a new chairman and then receiving the recommendation from Beth on an interim and a recommended package for that interim.
Yes. And again, we don't have to have minutes on those agendas.
Where you're having so many meetings, you should have the minutes done and approved on one of these upcoming meetings, because they're supposed to be by law approved at the next available meeting. So,
But we also
could
need to elect a secretary at the next meeting as well.
Why?
Because right now we have 2 secretaries, and we gotta make sure Lucy's willing to be the sole secretary.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't see her not wanting to do that unless her personal life interferes.
We're
I don't either.
fine.
Don't we have to do that though?
You don't have to change her just because you're changing chair.
No, but she's a co-secretary. Don't we have to make her a secretary, not co?
No, she just becomes the sole secretary.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that's covered.
So on the agenda for next 30th, we're meeting on the 30th, a Zoom meeting at 11. So
Oh, now it's the 30th? I'm so sorry. Are we doing the 30th?
Well, yeah, because the resignation's effective the 30th.
yeah,
so we
and
have-
I said that I would stay on until a new chair was elected. And it was suggested that we meet on the 30th, Wednesday, the 30th of September. Or if that's too soon, we can meet on Wednesday, the 7th of October.
Maybe we should do October so we get the minutes done.
That gives me a little bit more time for posting, so that would be good.
Okay,
And just Lucy not being here, and we needed to be taking minutes of this meeting?
it's all recorded.
Yeah, but someone will need to render them into minutes.
Any volunteers?
Boy, I suppose because I'm assistant secretary, that falls on my shoulders.
Well, with this recording, it's quite easy to just replay it and take out the important bits.
I think most of this meeting was going over in detail the posting, and there don't need to be much minutes on that. The board recommended changes to the posting and Beth agreed to post it. That's all that needs to be said about that, I think.
I think one other thing we need to circle back to is then, as Carol pointed out, do we want to put on this job description a date? Please send your resume, cover letter, and preferences by or before, I don't know.
I think let me see, October, November. I think December 1st. We're going to have an interim director, November 15th or December 1st. I mean, realistically, we want to make sure we have a good pool of people and not just hire the first person who applies.
Beth, when this can go up pretty fast, within a week.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so that gives us October, November. Okay. We want to say December 1st. Is that what you said, Michelle? I can't remember.
Yeah, December 1st. And we might have to extend it, but we could at least have that first as a deadline.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, it makes
I
sense.
agree on that.
Okay, now before you go down the path of voting on that, You still have on the floor the motion that was made and seconded to add that discussion by unanimous consent. You've had your discussion. It sounds like that motion is going to fail because you chose another option, but we need to actually go through the motions of making that fail so that you can then move on and take a vote on the date that you want to add.
Do we just table the motion? Is that the,
No, we made the motion, we had our discussion, now we need to vote on the motion.
Right. So if you no longer wish to have the matter of assigning a task to Beth to choose an interim director on her own, then you want to make this motion fail. So everybody would be opposed to it if that's how you want to act.
Okay,
If you want to go through the motions of assigning her to do it on her own, then it's successful, and then the next action you take is to do that assignment. But I believe your conversation led you to say that you're going to have a separate meeting and she's just going to come back with a recommendation. So that's fine.
So do roll call.
all right,
Yes.
all in favor, say aye, or all who are not in favor.
Nancy Osborne opposed.
Cindy Sheldon opposed.
Michelle Stecker.
Jeff Kenyon opposed.
and
Jeff
Mich-
opposed.
Jeff is opposed and Michelle is,
Opposed.
You said it.
so the
Okay, so that motion fails.
motion fails.
Okay.
All right,
We have till, the next meeting, that's October 7th. So we have the rest of this week and a little bit of next to discuss the package. So why don't I talk to you tomorrow if that works?
That would be fine, absolutely, yes. I'll be there at 11 on.
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of tied up today, but that'd be great. I'll talk to you tomorrow about it and I'll have some information, I hope.
Okay,
Can you take a vote that officially tells her that you would like the resumes received by December 1st? Right,
Yeah.
somebody would need to make that motion and second it, and then that way she can put that in the job description.
I move that all resumes be received by December 1st.
I second the motion. All in favor,
Aye.
Aye.
Nancy Osborne in favor.
Jeff in favor.
Cindy's in favor, and Michelle is in favor.
Okay.
Okay, so motion passes. Oh, boy. Okay, are we finished?
Yes.
Carol, thank you so much for guiding us on this.
I tell you, this is, okay, less said is better. Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you. Thank
appreciate all
you.
your time, and we'll work on squeezing out the notes. They're gonna be different.
We do have it recorded, so you can look at that if you need to.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I go back to listen to the recording.
I can show you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so the chair is declaring this meeting adjourned?
The chair definitely is.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.